start today lying into a Shavasana space. Bringing the feet as wide as the mat and the palms facing up. Create a comfortable space for your neck. Starting to bring your focus to your breath. Long, slow inhales and long, slow exhales. If you feel comfortable at this point to activate into Ujjayi, you can start to do that by slightly constricting the epiglottis of the throat. Creating a soft sighing sound on the inhale and on the exhale. And shifting the legs now into Skandasana, but bringing the soles of the feet together and letting the knees flop open to the sides. If your inner thighs are very tight, you can bring some pillows underneath the knees, or you can straighten the legs again back into Shavasana. We'll take a few rounds of Dirga Pranayama here. Let's exhale the air out, and then sipping the air in, breathing belly, ribs, chest, exhaling chest, ribs, and belly. Flowing at your own pace, creating a wave up the torso on your inhale, and back down the torso on your exhale. Paying attention to each part of the breath. So the division between the belly, ribs, and chest is even. But also creating flow between them so that we don't stop at each point, but rather keep a continuous flow of air in and out. Connecting into the effect that your pranayama is having physically, mentally, and energetically. Finishing off your last round of breath all the way through to the exhale, and then returning to a more natural breath. To inhale to draw the knees together, and then heel toe the feet as wide as the mat. Bring the arms out in a T shape and gently drop the knees from side to side in windscreen wiper. Exhale to drop and inhale to lift. You can turn your head from side to side in the opposite direction of the legs. And feel the activation into the top leg, and the bottom leg drops passively, follows passively. Let's inhale to the center again and take the knees into the chest. Flatten down through your lower back and through the back of the skull. And then inhale to bring the hands into dead bug with the knees above the hips. So this is an upside down tabletop. Flatten into the lower back and breathe into the space. Working into some toe tapping, lightly tap one toe and lift, the other toe and lift. And it's not about how fast you're going, but rather about the activation of the core muscles, feeling the lower back press against the mat as you lightly drop and lift. Bringing gentle awareness to the lower abdomen. Coming back into the center now, hug the knees to the chest. And then inhale to reach the feet up to the sky. You're going to point the toes here. If the hamstrings are very tight, you can hold onto the back of the legs to help elongate them. If the hamstrings are able to hold themselves up, you're going to do that. So two options. You can either interlock the fingers pointing at forefinger and thumb. You're going to inhale and then exhale to lift the fingers to the toes, lower back down, coming over to the right side and lower, over to the left side and lower. If you need to hold the legs, you're going to do the same thing, lifting up, pulling against the legs and lower, arms to the right and lower, arms to the left and lower. So just flow with whatever variation that you're doing. Exhaling as you crunch. One more round. These don't have to be very big movements, just trying to activate the core. Let's hug the knees into the chest. And on the inhale breath, coming to sit, rocking into the spine very gently, rounding into your back, flowing up and down with your breath. Coming all the way up to sit, and then over onto hands and knees. Flow through a few rounds of cat-cow pose at your own pace. Inhaling to drop the belly into cow pose, and exhaling to round the back into cat. Use this as an opportunity to connect to your breath, to connect the breath and the movement. So using the breath to facilitate the deepening of the body's movement. One more round. And then back into neutral spine. On your inhale breath, you're going to take your left leg behind you, pointing the toes. And then you're going to slide the foot from the left to the right. And you're going to follow the toes with your eyes. So you're gazing at the foot, twisting the spine from side to side. Gentle stretch into the hip flexors and the ITB band, as well as gently working into engaging and stretching the obliques, alternating left and right. And then the next time you come out to the left, you're going to slide the foot out as far as you can, bringing your heel in line with your knee. From here, taking this into a melting heart pose. So you gently walk the hands forward, either let your head drop between the shoulders or lower the forehead to the mat. You may feel that you have the space to bring chest and chin down. working into a threaded needle now. You're going to bring the forehead to the floor again, and then slide your right arm underneath your chest, coming towards your outer leg, holding onto the calf, ankle, or maybe even the toes, depending on how tight your rotation is. And then inhale, release the hand, walk yourself back up. You're going to now bring your right hand in line with your right knee, so they are even there, and then slide your left foot back in line with your right heel, taking the left arm up to the sky in a supported side plank. If you're feeling very wobbly, turn your bottom foot behind you so that it's at a perpendicular level, otherwise staying parallel, staying in line. Let's take the top arm over the ear, reaching from fingers to heel. So you actively press your foot behind you into the floor and then reach the fingers in the opposite direction. On the inhale, lift the hand up to the sky, tuck the standing toes, so the bottom toes, tuck those under for balance, and then lift your back leg up. If you'd like to attempt a sugar cane, you bend into that raised leg, holding onto the foot, and then opening up the chest. Lift your knee, lift your foot, and find the balance. Come out of the pose the way we got in. So we're going to extend the leg, lift the hand, and then lower back down, coming into tabletop. Taking the right foot back this time, pointing the toes, and then coming into this sweeping motion over to the right, over to the left, over to the right, sweeping forward and sideways, engaging into obliques as you slide. Flow with your breath. One more round, coming over to the right hand side again, and then slide the foot up so that your heel and knee are in line with one another. Melting heart by walking forward. Let your head hang, let the forehead drop, or maybe even come chest to chin. Keep anchoring down through the baby toe of that extended leg. Taking it into the threaded needle now, bringing the left arm under and holding to that right leg wherever you can reach it. If you don't reach the right foot, that's fine. Just bring the hand to the floor. From here, just releasing back, hands down, and then walking the hands back in. Bring your left hand in line with your knee. Bring your right foot in line with your heel, and then take the right hand up, so you're in your supported side plank. Really anchor down through your back foot as you reach the front arm over the ear. So getting a lovely cross fiber stretch all the way down the right side of the torso. Inhale to lift the hand up, tuck the supporting foot under, and then raise your leg up as well. Reach head and heel away and see if you can find your even balance so that the shoulder and wrist are in line, the knee and the hip are in line. You feel like you're floating. Taking it into a sugarcane pose by bending into the knee, holding to the foot. This is optional. You can stay in your previous balance. And then open up the hip, open up the heart. Kick your foot away to try and pull the chest and bicep a bit more. Let's come out the way we got in. So extend the arm and the leg. And then exhale to release back down into your tabletop. Sliding into downward facing dog. Lift the knees, slide your hips back, and then lift the hips up. Allow the neck to completely relax. Let's heel toe a few times here. Lifting right up onto the tippy toe of the bent knee, working into the toe and ankle joints. Shake your head yes, shake your head no. And then on the inhale breath, taking the right leg up to the sky. Let's lift as high as you can. Come onto the toes of your standing foot and really lift that leg up. Roll the ankle a few times and then change the direction. Sink the standing heel down and bend your top knee so that you're in your scorpion pose. From here, exhale to bring the knee to the upper right arm, holding it there. Inhale to lift the leg back up. Exhale, step the foot to the outer right arm, and then place the foot down so it's on the outer edge of the pinky toe. Start to drop your back knee down to the floor, and then walking the arms forward into lizard lunge. So if you're very flexible inner thighs, you can always drop down to the elbows here. But it's still quite early in the practice, so no need to push too far. On your inhale, walk the hands back underneath the shoulders. Keeping your left hand on the floor, take the right hand to the inner thigh, and then twisting to push your knee away as you open up your chest. Let the hips start to sink down a little bit towards the floor. You can come right onto the knife edge of the baby toe side of that front foot. Let's inhale to the center, bringing the hand to the inside of the foot. Lift your back knee off the mat, and then inhale forward into a squatting pose, so coming into Malasana. You can bring the hands together at the heart, and then give yourself a little shift from side to side. Gently rolling into the hips, and you can open one knee and then open the other knee. Maybe even push the knee a little bit wider, so like we did in the lizard lunge, opening to the side of the foot, really opening those inner thighs. Hands together at the heart now, finding stillness, breathing in and out, and then working towards a forward fold. Bring the hands down, heel toe the feet, hip distance, lifting your hips. Inhale to a flat back, and then exhale to forward folds. Hands lightly behind the ankles. Flick the tailbone up as you reach your head down. On the inhale breath, reaching arms all the way up to the sky. And then exhaling hands to heart. Let's inhale, float your right knee to your chest. Flex into that foot, open up through the front body. From here, start to kick your heel back as though you're moving through thick treacle into a warrior 3 position. We're not going to hold here for too long, just a moment, and then placing the back foot to the mat. Hands are still at the heart center. Lift up out of the back heel as you sink down through the front thigh. Let's exhale the hands to the floor and then step into plank. Find lightness into the core, lowering knees, chest and chin, engaging into lower belly. Use your inhale breath to come back into plank. Straighten arms, straighten legs. Let's take it through a second round. Knees, chest and chin. And then inhale to release down to the mat. Float the fingers off the floor, low cobra. And then exhale, release, sliding back through plank and into downward facing dog. Taking a few deep breaths in your down dog. Spread the fingers wide, pushing forefinger and thumb into the mat. Lightly gripping into the tips of the fingers. This is a very, very soft, gentle bend into the knuckles. Pushing the hands away from the floor to lift energy through the hips. Let's inhale, taking the left leg to the sky. And then lift that foot as high as you can, coming onto the standing toes. Roll the ankle one direction. And then roll the ankle in the other direction. Sinking your heel down and opening the knee into scorpion. Use the exhale breath to draw the knee to the upper left arm. Inhale, taking it back up. Exhale to the upper left arm. And then this time plant the foot to the pinky side of the hand. Dropping the back knee to the mat and taking it into a gentle lizard lunge. Walking your hands back under the shoulders and coming into the fire breathing dragon now. Right hand down, left hand to the inner thigh. And then you push your inner thigh open, rotating the chest up to the sky. You let the hips sink a little bit deeper, rotating the heart open. Releasing the foot and the hands back down, lifting the back knee on your inhale, and then stepping forward into Malasana. And again, if the hips are still feeling a little bit tight, you can give them a little gentle rotation from side to side, feeling how that opens up the adductors. Little push, little twist is quite nice. So moving away from static hold and into more dynamic activation of the muscles. And then finding stillness into your Malasana. Shifting this towards a forward fold slowly and step by step. Hips lift, heel toe, feet in. Lift the heart into a flat back to create space. And then exhale to forward fold. Lifting the tailbone up as you reach your head down. On your inhale breath, extending all the way up to the sky, joining the palms overhead, and then bringing the hands together at the heart. Let's float the left knee into the chest. Your left foot is nice and flexed, engage into bandhas, and then float yourself back into warrior three. Kick the body through the thick consistency to find stability. We're going to land into a high lunge, bringing the back foot down, lifting the chest up. Hands are still at the heart. And then exhale to release down to the mat and stepping into plank. Let's hold plank pose for a moment, finding lightness into the body. Lowering knees, chest and chin. Wrap those elbows in. Come straight back into plank, engaging into core and triceps, and then lifting the legs. You can choose knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga for your second round. And we come all the way down to the floor, and lifting into a slightly higher cobra. Hands to the floor this time, wrap those elbows in, open up through the heart. Draw the shoulders away from ears. Let's tuck the toes, lifting up and back into plank, and then downward facing dog. Anchoring the heels towards the floor. Whether they touch or not is not important, but feel as though the whole foot were pressing and rooting into the mat. You can lighten the toes and find the balance into the sole of the foot. Taking a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Let's take that right leg to the sky again, lifting it up nice and high. Bend into the top knee as you sink the bottom heel down, standing scorpion. Exhale the knee to the outer right arm. Inhale to lift up. Exhale to the outer right arm again. And then plant the foot next to the baby finger. You're going to drop the back knee down to the floor. And we're taking the lizard lunge a little bit deeper this time. If you have blocks, you can bring your elbows onto the blocks. If not, you can bring the elbows down to the floor. If that's too deep, if the hip is not going to allow it, then just walk the arms straight again. That's absolutely fine. You can bring the front foot at a 45 degree, depending on how that ankle and knee are feeling in your lizard lunge. On the inhale breath, walk the hands back in next to your front heel. You're going to lift your back knee off the floor and then step the back foot into Malasana. Coming into the rotated Malasana now by extending your right hand in front of your leg and taking the left arm up. Bring the hands together at the heart center again. And then the left arm extends, the right arm coming up. So you're actively pressing your inner arm against your inner knee. The inner knee presses against the inner arm. And when you create that tension, you're going to feel how that hip is starting to gently activate. Let's inhale the hands together at the heart center, moving into the forward fold. Heel, toe, feet in, lifting the chest into flat back, and exhale to forward fold. You may feel ready to take a fold a little bit deeper, bringing hands towards the floor. On your inhale breath, taking the arms all the way up, standing tall. Bringing hands together at the heart center. And then floating the right knee to the chest. Coming into figure of four chair. So place your heel against your lower thigh, just above the knee. Open your knee out wide. And then start to bend into the standing leg. Sink your hips a little bit lower. Press the top knee down a bit deeper. Maybe you want to rest your hand onto your heel and your knee, creating a bit more tension. Maybe you want to come down and hold onto the bottom ankle. See how you feel here. You can stop at any one of these points. You're going to lift back up. Hands up the heart, straightening the standing leg, and then drawing the top knee back to the chest. Let's shift through Warrior 3. Kicking that heel all the way back, tilting the head forward, and then lightly stepping into lunge. Bring the toe down, lifting up. This time float the arms up. And then as you inhale, we're going to open into Warrior 2. So just adjust the alignment of your feet, checking that the front heel is more or less in line with the arch of the back foot. Opening the knees out wide and feeling those inner thighs rotate up and open. Inhale to reclining warrior. And then inhale to the center. Draw your hands behind you, interlocking fingers. Roll the shoulder blades tightly in towards one another. Inhale, and then humble warrior, folding to the inside of your front thigh. Depending on how those hips are feeling, you might be able to move your head towards the back foot. Keep pressing that front knee deeply open. Release your hands now to the inside of the foot. You're going to turn your feet at a 45 and then bend into your left leg as you flex the right foot, coming into Skandasana. So this front heel might be on the mat, it might be off the mat. Either way is fine. You really want to flex into that back leg to find your balance. So we're over the left leg. So everyone's over the left leg. And then bringing the hands together at the heart to find your balance. You're very welcome to keep your hands on the floor if that's more appropriate for you. Or if you need a deepening, you can come into that same twisted sensation as you did in the Malasana, bringing the left hand down and the right arm up. Everyone bringing hands back to the mat. And now we're going to shift to stand up, turn the heels parallel, so in the middle of the feet. Lift open through the heart center, and then take this into a forward fold, interlocking fingers around the big toes, the ankles, or the calf muscles. Tilt your weight forward as you lift open through the neck. Extend the hips to the sky, reach your head to the earth. On your inhale breath, float open through the heart, bringing the hands underneath the shoulders, and you're going to rotate towards your left foot again, so coming to the front of your mat, stepping back into plank. Holding into the plank, finding lightness in the body. You can choose knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Sliding into cobra, or upward facing dog. And then exhaling back, downward facing dog. Engaging not only the legs and the arms, but find your core activation. Lifting the pelvic floor, engaging the lower abdomen. Allow the arms to become light because the core is lifting the arms away from the floor. Let's float the left leg up to the sky. Lifting it as high as you can, coming onto the standing toes. You can sink the heel of the standing foot as you open your top knee into scorpion. And then bringing the knee to the upper left arm. Inhale to lift. Exhale to the upper left arm again. And then this time step the foot to the outer edge of the pinky. Dropping the back knee to the mat and working into a deeper variation of lizard. Walk the arms forward or bring the elbows to a pillow, a block, or the mat. Connect to your Ujjayi breath here. So for most people, lizard's not the most comfortable of spaces to be. If you're finding intensity in this pose, start by releasing the breath. If you're still finding too much intensity, then edge out of the pose a little bit. On your inhale breath, lifting back up, hands under the shoulders. Lift your back knee off the floor. We're coming into Malasana, stepping forward. And drawing the hands together at the heart. So now you have the option of staying in your Malasana squat and playing with any of the variations that we've done so far. Or if you'd like to take this into an arm balance, into a Bakasana, you're going to bring the feet to the floor, the hands to the floor rather. Bring your feet a little bit in and lift right up onto the toes. So the bum is coming quite high. And in this way you can wrap your elbows in, bending them, and placing the knees to the upper arms. Tilt your weight forward, open up the chest, open up the shoulders. Really engage into core and into the shoulders. Maybe floating 1 foot, maybe floating 2 feet. Just play with your Bakasana. There's no right, there's no wrong. Even just tilting that weight forward and engaging to open the shoulder blades, you're going to feel the difference. You're going to feel how that's already working. And then when you are ready, coming back to your Malasana and shifting to forward fold. Hands come down as hips come up. Lifting open through the heart and exhale to forward fold. Inhale, reaching arms all the way overhead. And exhaling, hands to heart. Let's take a deep breath in and out. Taking the left knee into the chest now. So you're going to engage into the core muscles to float this leg up. Figure of 4, placing your ankle to just above the knee. Push your top knee away from the midline. And then start to bend into the knees. Figure of 4 chair. It's much easier to find a neutral spine in the figure of 4 chair than it is in your regular chair. Maybe you want to bring the hand onto the knee and the heel, creating a bit of tension by pushing it down. Maybe you'd like to come into the bind, wrapping around the ankle and bringing the upper arms against your shin. Slowly come back up out of the pose, hands to the heart as you straighten the standing leg, draw the raised knee back up to the chest. And then shifting through Warrior 3. Holding for a moment, finding your stillness, and then stepping back into lunge. Inhale, raising arms up. And then on the next inhale, opening Virabhadrasana 2. Adjust your alignment here so the hips are open, the front knee is open. Turning the biceps up towards the sky, just softly, don't overdo it. Just a soft, gentle release, creating space in the traps and the neck. Inhale to reclining warrior. back to the center, take the hands behind you. Remember to switch the fingers around, so the different finger on top for balance. Roll the shoulder blades tightly together. Open the heart on your inhale, and then humble warrior on the exhale. So really push the front knee wide in your humble warrior. If you've got this space in the piriformis and the glutes, turn your head more towards the center of the mat. Release the hands to the floor, turn the feet at a 45 degree, and then sitting into your right leg, into Skandasana. So you're really flexing into the left toes. This leg has got to stay very active to help with the balance. You can have hands to the floor, to the heart, or you can come into the open twist, pressing your upper arm against your inner thigh, and then reaching the left arm to the sky. From here, release the hands down, shift the hips to the center, straightening both legs. Adjust your heels so they're in line, toes pointing forward. Lift open through the heart center. You have the option of either coming into a regular forward fold, or if you'd like to try the inverted bakasana, that is available to you too. So either way, bring the hands towards the floor, bringing the head towards the floor. Lift your hips, reach your head down. You can hold here, this is enough for you today. Or you can start to bring the head to the floor, lifting the knees onto the elbows and getting the toes to touch. Make sure you're lifting the shoulders away from the ears. Try not to dump the weight into the neck. Everyone coming back into the wide leg forward fold, lifting the heart center, and then rotating towards your front leg and stepping back into plank. Open up the heart. I'm going to exhale, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga, all the way down to the mat. Bring the hands under the forehead for a moment. And just connect to your body. Connect to your breath. If you've lost ujjayi, bring it back at this point. And then we'll take this into a Sphinx pose. So lift your chest up and bring your elbows underneath the shoulders. Try to make sure that that is in a direct line. Middle finger, elbow, shoulder. Spread your fingers wide and then point your toes behind you. You're going to inhale to lift the chest and feel as though you're dragging the hands in towards the rib cage, really puffing out through the heart center. Keep the focus into the upper back. The lower back is extending with the toes. One more breath, and then slowly release down. Different hand on top. Heels out, toes in. Moving now into cobra pose. So you're going to bring the hands under the shoulders so that the tip of the finger more or less lines up with the tip of the shoulder blade. Wrap the elbows in, point the toes behind you, and then use your inhale to float up. The back muscles do the majority of the work, and the hands only start pressing in once you're halfway up. Elbows stay bent in your cobra pose. So even if you have quite a flexible back, keep those elbows softly bent into the rib cage. And again, puff open through the upper chest, bringing the awareness to the front body and the upper back. And then slowly releasing back down. Other hand on top, toes in, heels out. And then one last round, and you can choose a Sphinx, a Cobra, or even an upward facing dog, depending on where your body feels like going today. So if you're coming into up dog, you're going to bring the hands even further down the side of the chest, so they're more or less in line with your chest, with your pectoral muscles, as opposed to the shoulders, they're further back. You'll tuck the toes under, and then you'll point the toes to lift your knees off the mat, opening up through the chest, strong legs, soft into the elbow, and puffing open through the heart center. If you're in your up dog, flip the toes over and lift into your downward facing dog. If you're in your cobra or your sphinx pose, slide along bent knees into your downward facing dog. And then walk, step or hop yourself to sit on the mat. Bringing your feet out in front of you. You're going to work into a very gentle Paschimottanasana. So you start with the knees bent. Hands behind the hamstrings. Lift your spine up tall and then undulate to bring the belly onto the thighs. Stick your tailbone out and you'll feel how this has a nice lengthening sensation into the lower back. And we're just going to gradually start to straighten the legs. Bringing one heel. But trying to maintain that sensation of belly against the thighs. And again, adjust your arm alignment as those legs gradually straighten out. And then once you feel that the spine is released enough, you can take us into your full forward fold. If your lower back is feeling tender, then don't go too deep into the fold. Rather stay in a restorative space. Inhaling to lift all the way back up. Come all the way to lie down. So you can do a core roll to the floor. If you prefer to lie onto the side, you can do that. Or lie straight down onto the back. Let's take the knees into the chest. And then flatten down through the lower back. Flattening down through the back of the skull. Moving into cat pulling its tail. You're going to cross right thigh over left thigh. Hold onto the feet so you don't cross the hands. You hold onto the feet that are crossed over. And we're going to move over to the left side. So stage one, this is just simply drop with both knees bent. The bottom knee is bent on the floor, the top knee is bent to the sky. Stage two is to start to straighten that top leg a little bit out towards the left side. You may need a strap here, either around the extended foot or around the bottom leg. So if your quads are very tight, that bottom thigh will struggle a little bit. You'll hold the grip will be challenging on that bottom leg. So just taking this as deep as works for you. Just take a nice big inhale. And then exhale to sigh the breath out. Eyes softly closed. Release and relax the body. And you're going to stay in your twist. You're just going to simply let go of the feet. They'll slide away from you. Leave them. Let the arms just drop wherever they are. And find surrender in this space. Bring it back to the midline. Drawing the knees into the chest. And switching the legs around, bringing the left thigh over the right, holding onto the feet. Either just drop the bottom knee and the top foot to the floor, keeping the legs bent, or start to straighten the top leg away. As best you can, allow the shoulders to relax back into the mat. Taking a deep breath in through the nose and sighing the breath out. Coming back, knees to chest. Draw the knees down into the lower belly, just for the last opportunity to release and relax the lower back and your hips. And then moving into Shavasana, extending one leg and then the other leg to the corners of the mat. Turning the palms to face up. Soften your jaw, soften your tongue. Release the skin around your skull. And I want you to visualize that you're lying on a beach. And it's a calm and beautiful day on the beach. The perfect temperature, the perfect feeling of warmth on your skin, listening to the sounds of the waves in the distance, and feeling supported and spacious. And now imagining that you can hear the waves rolling up towards you, and feel the waves come over the toes and the feet, and then they wash back down away from the feet, leaving a sense of relaxation and softness. And then another wave comes up to the knees. As it gently moves it back down to the ocean, it feels a sense of release. Another wave up to the hips, relaxing the glutes, the thighs, the legs as it floats back down away from you. The next wave comes in up to the shoulders, relaxing the back, the chest, your arms, your fingers, your hips, your legs, your feet. And another wave comes up now and around the back of the skull, relaxing your head, your neck, your shoulders, your upper back, your lower back, your hips, your thighs, your feet. And the whole body feels completely released, completely at ease. Your mind feels spacious and calm. And your whole sense of energy is one of well-being, of stability, of ease. Slowly starting to deepen and lengthen your breath. Gently running your thumb over the tips of your fingers. Moving your toes, your ankles, and your wrists. Coming into a full body stretch, reaching the arms overhead and drawing the legs together as you yawn or sigh, extending the body, bending your knees, and then rolling over onto your side in a fetal position. Completely relax into this space. And as you inhale, lifting up into a comfortable seated space. Bringing hands together to heart center. We'll close the class by chanting Om once and Shanti 3 times. Taking a deep breath in. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Raising your hands to your third eye. The light in me sees and honors the light in you. Lowering your hands to your lips, to your heart, to your mat. Bowing forward in recognition of your practice. Blinking eyes open. Inhaling to lift. Namaste.